feel like everybody's hiding from us on camera
I
today,
know.
Damon. So, hey, look, guys, this is going to be well, depending on how much feedback that you have, that'll kind of determine how long this call is. But what we wanted to do is, I was having this conversation with somebody actually earlier today, and look, the whole goal is we want to buy cars, right? Period. That's what we're about. We want to acquire as many vehicles as possible. KBB ICO, that's just a tool to help us accomplish the ultimate goal, which is to acquire these cars. So we wanted to make sure that we were giving you guys some sort of forum where we could share different ideas or some different thoughts on, what are some things that we can either do to improve how we're acquiring the KBB leads, or B, what are some things that we're doing outside of the KBB world to help us acquire some vehicles. So before we jump into that and we start asking for some feedback and ideas from you guys, we did want to show you a couple of things that we've got going here. So again, under your training tab on the Schottenkirk Training website, KBB Buying Center, if you go there, we've now added an ICO Materials tab to the bottom. So what we're going to do is this. We've designed some Kelley Blue Book cards for each of you that have the QR code that's the direct link to your Kelley Blue Book ICO page at your store. I'm going to get these made for everybody that's on our current list. What we need from you guys is I need everybody to email me your cell phone number so that I can put that on there. And we're going to go ahead and order everybody 500 of these and get them to you as soon as possible. If you run out or if you add somebody at your store to this program, they'll now be able to go onto the website here and order these. So again, don't necessarily go and order your stuff yet because I'm going to go ahead and get the first batch ordered for all of you. But this is where you would come to reorder some of this stuff. So another thing that we're working on, this was actually, Lori had brought this up earlier today, and I've reached out to KBB and we're waiting for them. We're trying to find out if they have some Spanish solutions for, the website platform. And if so, we'll get, Spanish language materials made up as well, business cards, whatever's needed to help, help us prospect more effectively to get you guys ultimately at the end of the day more cars sold. So, Damon, what you got?
Guys, just wanted to really touch base. Sent out or pulled the report today. We're pacing 424 purchases. That's going to be a big number. And month over month, we're going to have to keep growing that number. So, guys, I really think we're doing a good job. I send out the report of missed opportunities that another dealer has bought. And let me tell you, what I'm seeing is we're just not doing the follow-up that we're supposed to, or we're getting outbid because we're not actually putting the right number and giving the customer a good number before they go find it from another dealer. So make sure that we're doing the follow-up. Remember, we text first, we call, and then we send a good email to the customer that talks all about their car in our process, and that we pay the most. So that's going to be really important in follow-up. And then second, make sure that you're putting a good number on these cars. I've been working with Eddie here at the office. We've been looking at some KBB cars, and it looks like KBB's missing some cars that we've seen between $5,000 and $6,000, which is big. Because if you think you're just going to get it for the KBB deal or the KBB number, another dealer is going to come out and outbid us, and we're losing great merchandise. If you look at that reports that I've sent out, look at the merchandise that we've missed, 22s, 23s, 24s that have low miles. We can't miss that stuff. That's great inventory. Also, in that report that I send you, it also tell you if that store has that car still in stock or they've already sold it. And some of the turnaround on those cars that we've missed, they're already selling at other stores. So that could be our car deal hitting the road. So let's make sure that we stay on top of it, stay aggressive, and keep pushing.
Yeah. Hey, and I just want to touch on something. Damon reiterated the importance of starting everything off with that text. This has actually happened to me twice this week already, where somebody says they called me, but because that person's number was not in my phone, I don't even get the call. Like I've got robo blockers on my phone to prevent, you know, the 50,000 people that want to give me a loan every day, right? So like if your number's not in my phone, if I haven't authorized a number, then my phone doesn't even ring. Like it goes straight to voicemail. So again, that's why it's so important that we start with that initial text. If I know I should be looking out for a specific phone number, if I want to authorize it, I can do that. But I only do that if I know to do that, right? So make sure that we're starting off with that. So, hey, look, at this point, we kind of want to turn it over to you guys. So, you can either punch your ideas into the chat, or hopefully you're at a mic somewhere where you can just kind of speak up. But we want to give you an opportunity to tell us, hey, what are some things that you are actually doing that might be helping to get you some more business, either through the KBB leads or outside of the KBB leads? Or what are some things that you're thinking about? Our goal is for, hopefully we come up with 2 or 3 really good ideas on this call, that everybody can go out and try and see if we can create more business, because it's according to your pay plans, it's a pretty simple formula, right? The more cars you get, the more money you get. So we want everybody to get as much as possible. So what do you guys got?
I got a question about the Google message that we'll get when people are scanning their calls from Google. I've found that if I just say, hey, this is Tom, and I'd like to buy your F-150, maybe 50% of the times the call goes through, but I'm still getting cut off a lot from the Google calls. I don't even get a chance to do the voicemail. I turn right back around and call them. Half the time, I will get to leave a voicemail after the second call, but sometimes I don't. I don't know if there's a trick I'm missing or not. When I said this is the Kelly Blue Book Buying Center or whatever, it's almost always cut off. With that Google screen, if I say this is Tom, I want to buy your F-150. I don't know if anybody else has a better plan or not.
I'll tell you, just by working internet leads, when I was at a store and that we had that going on at that time, I just say, hey, this is Damon. And that's all I would say. And they would, okay the call. And I'd be like, hey, this is Damon from Toyota Plano at that point, but they didn't know who Damon was. And I didn't want to give them where I was from, because then they would just deny me if they weren't ready to talk to me. So I just left my first name and try to get through that way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the same philosophy behind the effective voicemail that we teach salespeople, right? If you're giving them every keyword to listen to that tells them that they don't want to listen to that, then they're gonna we're gonna have a much harder time getting through. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I like to just make sure the tone of my voice sounds like we already know each other, and so that I'm able to tickle that part of their brain that thinks, well, whoa, wait, Damon, where do I know this guy from, right? They're much more likely to give us a return call back or allow access, if it's something like that. So
I would just say it's Damon, or it's Tom, it's Shannon, and then they're going to go, oh, Shannon, I probably need to talk to you, and they're going to say yes, and then you can go into your spill once you get them on the phone, and they're going to go, oh man, I messed up. But that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. The other thing I was going to say is, me and Tim were talking, and the big part of this call was about maximizing your pay plan, right? The more you buy, the more you get. Hey, don't just think about it. I talked to Jay Webb about this yesterday. Don't just think about KBB. Make sure you follow up on your KBB, but think outside the box. We have a buyer here at the office. Her name's Lori, and she contacted all of her friends and family and has bought probably 5 to 6 cars outside of KBB and is doing a really good job. That's thinking outside the box. Facebook Marketplace, Auto Trader. You can go to all these other sources where people are selling their cars or trying to get rid of their vehicles and buy those. It's not just KBB. We want to buy everything, anything we can get our hands on. So think outside the box.
Yeah, even Lori and I were talking earlier again today, and she brought up possibly getting those, she said, getting her car wrapped, I think she was halfway joking about that, but I had mentioned, maybe those magnetic signs that you can just slap on your car real quick, something that says, hey, buying vehicles, it's got your QR code. The business cards that you see on the screen, I was telling her back when I was a salesperson, there wasn't anything, no such thing as a QR code back when I was a salesperson, right? But I had a rubber stamp made, and all it said was "want a trade." And on all of my personal business cards, I just stamped the back, and I always kept a stack of them in my car. And then if I was going to the movies or the grocery store or Best Buy, I made it a point to park at the back of the parking lot. And then on my way to the front door, I'm just looking and cherry picking what I thought might be a good trade. And I would just always, I'd always have 2 or 3 cards that I'd put on something. So that's kind of one of the reasons that we wanted to get you guys, business cards that maybe had more of a direct access to the ICO, which is the QR code. Now, I will tell you this, if you are at a location where you have multiple people trying to use that QR code, when I get the business cards made, I'll get them made in linen instead of glossy. That way, a pen will write easily on the back. So if you're going to do that, where you're just leaving them places, you better write on the back, hey, make sure you email me to let me know, or something like that, so that you can claim that customer when it comes across. Because if it's a leave behind prospect, you're not going to know these people, right? So make sure they reach out to you. Evidently, according to KBB, there's not a way to have a QR code that links directly to each individual person. So for now, this is what we'll have to roll with. So maybe put some thought into that on what might work best for you guys. So,
guys, and I also want to tell you, and ladies, I want to also tell you that don't forget, we buy retail and wholesale. Eddie just called me. He was at the auction repping some cars from our Prosper store. We sold 5 KBB cars and made $8,000 at the auction off 5 cars. That's awesome. We're paying all the money and we still made money. So buy everything.
No, I give you, listen, I give.
Yeah, so hey Damon, Tim. So as far as what you talk about, as far as reaching out to people on Facebook, I did that yesterday after me and you had talked, Damon, and I've had like 7 people reach out to me as far as selling the vehicle, trading the vehicles in possibly, and so that is definitely a very useful for one. And as far as the like Google assistants, what still not having a whole lot of getting through to a lot of them, but what I am doing is I'm just saying, my name, and I'm looking at buying your XYZ vehicle, and that's it. I'm not saying from where I'm from or at a car dealership. I'm just saying I'm looking at buying your, XYZ vehicle. And that's getting through to a few of them, but still not very many. And like I did buy one couple weeks ago, a 03 Honda Accord that needed 3 tires, busted windshield, AC ran good. I paid $1,000 for it, and it brought $2,800 at auction. So
that's a great job. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We put this department together to generate one activity and a lot of money, and I think that's what it's going to do, especially when we're capitalizing. We're selling or buying 500, 600, 700 cars a month, and we're not having to go to the auction. So we just got to keep growing it and keep digging in and make sure that we learn from our mistakes. Like if someone buys one from us, if another store buys a car that was supposed to be ours, we go back and look and find out why we missed it, and we learn from it. We use it like game film, right? Athletes look at game film to see, hey, what do we need to do to be better next week? Well, that's the same thing we need to look at. Research, hey, how did I miss this Mercedes? Well, I did call them, for 3 days. Or, hey, I missed a day, and they probably called them that day. Hey, I didn't put enough money in the trade. That's how they got it. So let's just take every opportunity and just research it.
Hey, Damon, I noticed we had a couple on the miss list that were sold in like Pennsylvania and Texas and places like that. How does that happen?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Was it who bought it? Was it a CarMax
No, it
they
was
moved it?
one. No, one was a Ford dealership and one was a Hyundai dealership, I believe.
I would have to look and kind of look and see what that is. If you want to send it,
And the people, I mean, the people were their address and stuff and their phone, their area codes were in our market, but they ended up the car. One of them went to Pennsylvania, and one of them went to a dealership in Texas. It was weird.
I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I could research it and probably give you an answer. But I mean, it's easy to find a paper trail to look at it.
Hey, some of the prospecting things that you can do, the school stuff. Like if you got kids in a school, if they play sports or if they cheer or if they're in theater or whatever, usually school sponsorships are or usually they're very affordable actually. So, those are some other things that you can look to do that you can spend little money on, or actually probably should be a conversation you're having with your general manager. I'm sure if it makes sense, the store would, sponsor you an ad with the local football team or cheer squad or whatever. There's QR codes are weird, right? Like there's something about it. It just people's eyes gravitate towards QR codes, and having that up on a billboard or something that could be a potential for big funnel for you guys just to get some more additional leads going there. So.
And I had a degree with Tim because once he showed me this business card, I really wanted to pull out my phone and scan it. So he has something. He does mean, what he's saying, because it made me want to scan it.
Yeah, I think there's like curiosity behind it for a lot of people, right? And actually, Kyle brought this up yesterday. There are some QR code scams going on out there. So, you may have that customer every now and then is like a little hesitant to do it. But I think for the most part, I think it piques good interest from folks. But, that's the kind of thing that we're thinking about. It's about acquiring cars, period. And it's just like anything else. The more eyeballs that we can get on the opportunity, then the more opportunities that you're going to end up getting. So think outside the box, and schools are a lot of, I think we miss a lot of opportunities with some of those school sponsorships. Like I said, bang for the buck. It's hard to find something better than your local, high school and their athletic programs or theater programs or whatever it might be. So what are some other ideas? Anything that any of you are currently doing or thinking about doing?
Well, as far like I have one for an example, this morning I had a F-250 come across, and it KBB was 39 and some change or whatever, and I look at the book values on it and what they're bringing, and it was anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000 below what they're bringing. So I sent a message, email and text to the customer, with a number, between, 50 to 53,000 that I can give them. And I always get, the upper number when they get here, if they're just looking at selling it, I just explain to them that upper number is if you trade it in, so you get tax savings. So I give them kind of a range of $3,000 or so roughly. And then if they, once they get here, then I explain to them that upper number is, if they was to trade it into us to get tax savings.
So I have them put brand new siding, bright light, put it down there.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I like what Jay was just saying there. I think, anytime that you can show a little bit more hope for gain, you're definitely going to drive your show percentages and your appointment percentages by doing that. So
I'm glad that Tim brought that up. Let's make sure that we put our appointments into VIN Solutions. All right. That's when we pull that report and we're sending the reports out to, the upper management team and the GMs. We want to see what kind of progress we're making in, hey, do we have appointments? Because I know that we have at some stores, we have more bought than we do appointments. So make sure that we're putting those appointments in there.
Hey, and also don't forget this. Look, just like work it just like anything else. Like if you trade for one of these cars, if you buy one of these cars, I mean, or trade for it, man, if you got your business cards, make sure you're telling people if it's me and I just bought Damon's car, I'm going to say, hey, here's some more of my business cards. Anybody that you send me that buys a car or that we buy their car, I'm going to send you $100 or whatever. Like figure out what referrals look like for these, right? And sometimes the ones that it's just like if I sold a car, right? The best person to ask for a referral is the one who's in love with me right now. Okay. It's kind of the same thing with this. We're not afraid to, pay some referral money on the side if it helps us accomplish our bigger goal, which is to acquire vehicles. So
I'll tell you a success story that we have here at the office. We have a buyer that does something completely different than this group. And he started out probably 8 months ago and was buying 30 cars. And then he just kept doing what Tim just said, word of mouth. We pay the most. Hey, we have a referral program. He went from 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and he's at 80 cars as of today because of of word of mouth. Just doing what Tim just said. So make sure that you're out there promoting yourself and promoting that, hey, Sean Kirk pays the most for any car. If you know someone, send them my way, then I can take care of them. Don't send them somewhere else. You know I've already taken care of you, right? If you did good service, they're going to be sending them to you.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, David, let me ask you a question too. As far as leads are concerned, like the report you sent out yesterday morning, my store had 281 leads, and the Canton store just right down the road has got 521, and in Cartersville has got 503. Is it because of the location, or what's the deal with the lead difference?
So do you want to answer?
Well, I was going to say both of those locations slide Damon a little cash under the table. That was my understanding.
No,
I knew something had to be going on.
Oh man, I'll see you later, Tim.
Hey, let me know what it says, Damon. I'll give you some more than they are.
No, when we got on this program with KBB, they told us, hey, these stores can have this many leads because that's what's available in the market. So your market's divided. They divided the market. We didn't divide it. So we can always go back and try to adjust it with them. But this is what they maximize the market with. And we took it all. So if there's more, we can ask for more. But right now, that's what they told us was available.
Jay, that sounds like what a guy who took money under the table would have said, don't it?
Wow.
Absolutely.
I have that list.
It sounded like he was stuttering a little bit.
Broke down for all the stores, and I don't mind sending it out to you. And actually, that list has all's names on it. So I'm going to send it out, and y'all can just verify that, hey, the buyer's correct, your email's correct. And if it's not, then you can fix it for us so we can get a master sheet. So I'll get that sent out today to you.
Would that have their cell phone numbers on it?
No, it won't.
Okay. All right. What else we got? Anything else for this call? Well, then here's kind of how I think we'll land it, right? Hey, look, guys, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? You're not going to grow your business. You're not going to, as Damon was talking about, the guy here at the office who's growing it every month. Well, he's doing that because he's doing the things that it takes to grow the business. So try some new things. Some of them you're going to try and you may be like, man, I'm having like zero success with this. Okay, cool. So you know, for you in that market, that doesn't work. So okay, at least you know what doesn't work now, right? So you know what you can focus on something else. So um, if you want different results, you got to do something differently. So at the end of the day, we just want to buy cars. KBB is just a source to help us accomplish our ultimate goal. But all of these different prospecting ideas and opportunities, in my opinion, that's the actual secret sauce. Like,
Yep.
if you want something to grow exponentially, look, it's not going to grow exponentially through Kelly Blue Book. It's just not going to happen. Okay. Where it's going to grow exponentially is through the power of that word of mouth or some sort of social media or online presence, or you get in good with the local high school or whatever it might be. That's where your potential to blow up is actually going to be. So that's all I got.
David, I know we send you that log on Mondays of everything we bought KBB. Are y'all wanting what we're buying outside of KBB as well?
You
Or
know,
just KBB?
we're only tracking KBB.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So like Lori here at the office, her friends and family, those aren't in her KBB numbers. We're only
That's what
tracking KBB.
Yeah.
On
KBB is
that.
all we're sending, but I know we're buying elsewhere too, which is KBB is all we're sending you.
But listen, guys, from what we missed and what we buy, your average should be between 15 and 18% in closing. All right. I think the report today for the Prosper location for the buyers that are here in this office are at 15%. We have to strive to close more and buy more. Okay. There is opportunity in KBB. It's not going to be 100%. We're going to miss some, but we should close higher than what we're closing right now. As a group average, we're at 6. We need to close higher. All right. So we've got to push and we got to be more aggressive. All right. You got to hammer the phones and keep hammering. That's the only way that this is going to work. Now, what we're talking about outside prospecting, that's maximizing your pay plan. You buy 15 cars, KBB, and you buy another 10 outside, you've maximized your pay plan, right? But our main goal is to buy as many KBB, and then you maximize your pay plan with your outside prospecting opportunities. Anything else, guys?
All right. Well, then I'll say it one last time. Either make sure your information is in the chat so that we can get you marked down for attendance, or send it to me in an email. Also, send me your cell phone number so that I can get your Kelly Blue Book business cards made up. And then, like I said, we'll go ahead and get these produced and mailed out directly to you. So,
you know what? Let's do this. So it's one blanket email. I'm going to send an email out with the lead count, your emails and everything. Y'all reply to that with your cell phone numbers. So it's in one email, and then we can add it to the spreadsheet. All right. So if Tim needs to reach out to you or I need to reach out to you, I have your number. I have most of them, but just in case. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
all right. Thank y'all for jumping on. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a great afternoon. Bye.